Oh man, let me see. Selections on YouTube videos. Maybe something will come up to talk about, I bet. A whole load of stuff. So, liberal outrage tanks stock market. Oh, yep, nothing but divisive programming. From all the networks. It don't matter what kind of network it is, it's a network. And it's all programming. What kind of program don't matter, it's programming. It's programming division, all of it is. All these dumbass ideas and belief systems. Take your pick. Oh, that's the thing. You know what? You know what? Now I'll talk to it. That's how it's done. As soon as you pick a side, you'll be presented with sides in everything. Pick a side. Are you male, female? Pick a side. That's an easy one, should be, but even people are confused about that nowadays. Irregardless, like pick a side anywhere else in life. Skin color, religion, rich, poor, veteran, not veteran, military, pro this, pro that, anti this, anti that. It doesn't matter what it is. It's choosing division. And when you choose division, you divide the self inside because you pick a side against other people that are that same self that you're made up of and don't fully realize and can't fully comprehend because you've been labeled with so many labels and have made so many divisions inside or have been made for you that you've accepted that you're totally internally disconnected and divided from yourself to the point where you cannot empathetically relate to self fully or other. And that's the imbalance that's been created. An imbalance between left brain, logical thinking, the masculine aspect, and right brain thinking, creative, feminine aspect. Those should be tied together in tandem. In tandem. But since we live in this world of symbology and sigology and sorcery and language and this and that and the other, things haven't been correctly and fully explained to most of us. Weren't to me. I didn't know what I was, who I was. I didn't know what any of that entailed. I couldn't answer any of those questions for myself for 39 years.
That in turn passed down to me too.
Yeah. And then then I couldn't teach my kids correctly. I couldn't do anything correctly. Let alone I couldn't understand the plain simple difference between right and wrong morally in line with natural law and truth. Couldn't understand it, couldn't get it, didn't know it existed. I didn't know I was a spiritual being inside. I thought I was just a meat suit that had to pick all these labels and get through this physical existence because that's all there was. And then one day I'd die and that'd be it because that's probably it, right? Nope, that's not it. Because along with those two parts of the brain, they're supposed to be connected fully to the care center, the healing, the heart. That part, well, that needs to be healed in folk. Because that healing that takes place in the heart, reconnecting to that care center and finding that original spiritual energy, that link to your soul, having that energy tied with the left and right hemispheres of the brain in tandem, in unison, is the Holy Trinity. That's Holy Trinity that people are finding inside, and don't take the triangle pointing downward to mean some satanic thing, because it's not. Going downward, inside, inward is where you find that. It's where you find you. It's where you find it. It's where you find the I am of you. And then once you find the I am of you, you realize you're none of those labels. You realize that you're a spiritual being, however you want to label it, call it, name it, doesn't matter. You're a spiritual being, this sentient consciousness that is inhabiting or allowed to inhabit and control this physical body, to experience this physical world. That infinite slice of consciousness you got, the cosmic energy consciousness, the all consciousness, that sliver of whatever you want to name it, that is you. That is all of us, all interacting with ourself and each other, all at the same time, but separately as complete and whole individuals, or should be, not controlled by other, only controlled by self. Once you realize you are that sovereign spiritual energy that has the perception that's gained by having this physical body, that has these two physical eyes, that have two separate points of perception that meet in the middle to converge already outside self. So your point of perception is already out here when you're looking with your physical eyes. You're already outside self. But your consciousness is always outside self, because that consciousness, that I am of you, the entirety, is what controls this physical body that has the mind, that has the thoughts, that has the heart, that feels, and has the gut that says, hey, do something or don't do something. Or I just got to use the bathroom or I'm hungry. You're just a lot more than the physical body. That's just something I definitely need to say. Oh, while I'm at it, sorry to... Well, no, it's not sorry, just kind of going out.
I couldn't have said that any fucking better.
Man, another aspect of this. The 3D, 5D thing is driving me bonkers. You got all these people with half-truth understandings and some with full-truth understandings that are snake oil salesmen that are selling this 3D, 5D reality shift fucking bullshit. Excuse the language. But that goes into any of the other theoretical stuff like quantum and atomic and this theory, that theory, and the other. Check it out. We exist in 5 dimensions already. At least. In the physical realm. Because this physical body, whoever you are, and of course you already know, you, whoever you are, this physical thing has the 3 dimensions of length, width, depth, right? But since it's an enclosed system that has some weight to it because you're solid, because this is physicality, you also contain volume. And that whole thing has mass. That's your weight. So you're already in 5 dimensions, right? And that's if you want to look at it from such a weird, stupid, childish way to look at things, which is what's being sold in fancy languages and spun this way and that. When 3D, you've been taught, and point at the logic side here automatically. I don't even try to, but just show where it's coming from. Because this has been taught, the logic side, the left brain has been taught that 3D is reality. Because 3D is real, right? 3D movies are real. Looks like real life because it has length, width, depth. Just like I do. No, not just like you do. It doesn't have volume and mass. So it's an illusion. It's fake. And it's not even 3D because it's on a 2D plane. It's about perception. So you're already in at least 5 dimensions just by virtue of physicality. And then once you realize that, you already realize, oh, you're in this magical 5D realm already. Ooh, yay. The aliens aren't coming. This and that ain't coming. Like, quit with all this crap. Like, because it's a load of shit from this way and that way and the other to keep people locked in different belief systems that keep them divided internally, gets them to pick a side. Because pick your theory. Which one do you like best? I bet someone got mad when I said one of those words. I hope not, because you shouldn't. But if you do, that's because it's an imbalance in you, not in me. Because I've corrected all of those in me. And it was a lot of horrible, dark, nasty, ugly work to go inside myself and to really admit to myself that I was an absolute clown. And didn't even know what I was for most of my existence on this plane or world or planet. I don't care what you name it or call it so far. But now I know. And knowing that, I'm fine. I'm fine with that past because it was the building blocks that got me here. However shaky and cracked and fucked up those foundational building blocks were, doesn't matter. Because the past is gone, so to speak. It's illusory. It just is. It happened. I know it happened, but I'm fine with it, not fine with it, either way. It's a learning experience, and I dealt with it internally, and that's where everyone really needs to work with their self, is internally in that internal baggage, and really looking at reality truly for themselves, from themselves, within themselves, to realize they're more than the sum of their parts. They're more than what they've been led to believe. And that they are indeed enslaved and should not be enslaved. in this physical world, in this physical form, because they were born into it, because I was born into it, because that's where we happen to find ourselves for whatever reason. And that's another hiccup. Since I'm fine with the whole past, I still end up with that hole that we all have of we don't know our origins. We can't trace our origins back to this or that or the other. We can try and we can come up to whatever fairy tale we want or whatever story that's been presented. We can find truth in all of it. Because you know what? Might all be true. Might all be fake. Doesn't matter, because it's all the same story, and it's all the same story playing out in and around each and every one of us all at the same time. All it takes is realizing it and realize that, well, yeah, I'll stop there because I'll just get into this repeating myself too much mode.
No, yeah, I couldn't have said that any better at all.
It felt a little good just getting some stuff out a little bit. It felt a little good.
Yeah, I could see it. I still,
Man.
it's like you've been holding that one in for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like everything does.
I don't even know what to say. You done covered pretty much all of my knowledge plus more. I mean, yeah, just with the language, just with the words that you use, can't say it any clearer just in my own words, I guess. I guess the biggest thing that people need to, the biggest thing that I feel like people need to do is going inside and doing that inner work and really looking at this reality from the inside, because there's a lot more going on than what everyone around us knows to believe, and that we're led to believe in fucking anything, school.
Yeah. It is a totally different reality and experience than what's been presented.
Yeah.
It is. And it's absolutely unique to each individual. Which brings me to another problem.
Nice.
The idolatry of this reality. Everything's an idol. What is with it? Like, everything has been set up to be an idol, to be idolized, to be worshipped. Anything that is outside self, especially if it's another individual that you can worship and idolize. Oh, that's the wrong way to go. You have to be in a place inside yourself of truly loving yourself, knowing yourself, know thyself fully, mentally, physically, and spiritually, consciously, infinitely, I would say, and realize that you are that finite body with that infinite consciousness piece. Realizing all that, you look out there and you see things a bit different, and you see how people present themselves to be worshipped and idolized here and there and everywhere, and it's driven on purpose to keep people fractured internally by placing so much of their own energy externally. Like, they externalize everything, and that's such a problem that has people's perception of reality and themselves and those people they're idolizing. Oh, it's totally skewed. It's a false
And then money on top of that too.
Yep. Driven by money, driven by greed, driven by fear, driven by the disconnectedness of the individuals out there, unbeknownst to most of them. So this isn't to pass blame. I was unaware of all of this stuff, almost all of it. Like I said, I didn't even know what I was. I couldn't have answered that question for you if someone would have said, "Who are you?" I would have just rattled off label after label after label and it would have been, I don't know, I'm a white guy, I'm a dad, I went to school, I did some college. No, none of that's me. No, that was me. That was that persona of me, that fake persona person. I ain't trying to get all legal-easy, but yeah, that whole stupid concept of a fake persona setup that we tend to believe is us, that is not us. At our core, it's not our essence, it's not us. We are more than that. We were just led to believe that we were those labels when we are all a combination and amalgamation of all the labels, of all the energies, of all the interconnectedness and outer connectedness. Just haven't been let in on that secret, or even let on a secret that that secret is already inside you, has been all along, and you just have to go inside and find it. And really, that's what I just kind of did, kind of fell into by accident, just due to my whole crazy life of crazy, just insanity, I guess, growing up and going to work and doing the career thing in the military and whatever else. And yeah, just I was at that state of almost total. I was dying physically, mentally, and spiritually. I was already gone. And that's that spiritual part, whatever that was, is what triggered all the healing that took place for me, in me and around me, the last couple years. Because I found that spot, and it was like in that dark, nasty place, which was a long, painful, mentally, physically, and spiritually, that process of coming together and rebuilding what was now me, the new me, that realized that old me was a bunch of fakery and acting, but it was still the experience I had to draw from. So that's why I don't have any judgment hang-ups, or someone needs to pay for this or that or the other. No, to me, people have been paying for far too long for no reason whatsoever, and no one should be paying, so to speak. Take that whichever way you want. It works in any other way you want to look at it. I don't care. People should not be paying. It's not natural. And people have paid far too high a price already. It's people, I'm using that term I don't like. Folks, men, women, children, animals, life, living beings, sentient living beings, like, have paid dearly because of the greed of others. And fear that's driven by others. By who? I don't know. I'm not pointing fingers, but I know I can point fingers at any of the systems that are built out there, and I'd be pointing in the right place. And yeah, so I guess I'm starting to loom out there. I guess that's a good little snippet of talking there, I guess.
Yeah, that was real good. I like that. Was real nice.
Cause yeah, it's just everything's already built. Everyone has all this amazing knowledge. Everyone has all this amazing infinite potential inside them. All these skills. Doesn't matter if they were built in an unnatural or dark way, or used by others, to get you to use your energy to serve. It doesn't matter. Everyone has all these skills. Everyone has all this same potentiality inside of understanding and understanding and overstanding. When everyone sees it and realizes that, and can get immediately past the judging outside. Don't judge outside. No one's supposed to be judging each other. Just pointing out things, because we can use words to point out things, and then the individual judges self. That's how this is supposed to work naturally. And once that happens, you can get past the need to judge others, because you can go, oh, we can actually all get past all of this stuff. Somehow, I don't know how. I don't have all those answers, but I could figure out some ways easily. And I know, since I can, sitting here, I know other folks could make it happen overnight with the positions some folks already positioned.
The influence they have.
The influence, the resources. All it takes is that different mindset, that balanced, unified mindset, connected to the empathy and care. So we can go, oh, this has gone terribly wrong, let's right it. And it can be, I know it doesn't, things aren't that smooth, but that potential is there for it to be. It's just up to all the individual folks out there just to go inside themselves, key into that infinity inside them, realize, they have a limited time here to act in a correct, moral, natural way, in line with truth. Just the whole the whole protection and nurture aspect that we all have for self. We want to protect ourselves. We want to nurture ourselves. We want to protect the ones we love, nurture the ones we love. You just realize they're not possessions. Just like the other life isn't possessions, pets, so to speak. It's kind of mean. They're animals, they're life, they're sentient life. They should kind of be friends, and they definitely shouldn't be food. And that's just a fact that I've come to know. And I used to be horrible with the, like, well, I mean, biggest medium type person, just total automatic eater. I would shovel stuff into my face. And like I don't know, like society, I guess, kind of went or was going, or how I was taught. Doesn't matter. Now I'm starting to ramble. I'm gonna leave that. Yeah, I want to avoid like trying to avoid so much of the negative because there's so many people talking about all the negative.
Yeah.
I don't want to add to it. Well, I mean, as much as this is talking about the negative, I mean very bluntly and kind of in an all-encompassing way, but I'd rather try and keep it as positive, and because it is the key to fixing all this. So it's so hopeful too to know that other folks could take this in and they could do it themselves, because I am not the one to ever think that I would speak in such a manner, feel in such a manner. I never, nope.
You used to never speak at all. Yeah.
Dark I let myself go, and what I thought made sense. I was so backwards and inverted on so many different things and concepts. And it's thinking back, it was just such a mess, and I'm not that thing anymore. That thing is just what made me into what I am now. It isn't, and it's a night to day change. When you go in and find yourself, and yeah, you know that.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's so important for people to really take in, because it's an individual responsibility. It's your body, it's your mind, it's your spirit, it's your consciousness, it's your piece of infinity. It's yours. No one else's. It's yours. That piece. And you control this to interact with everyone else that has that same thing. So you have to realize that like everyone is that important, whether they act like it or not, because a lot of folk have been brought up to be actors and they don't realize they're acting. But you gotta remember, empathetically, they are that too inside. They're that important to all of this, just as important as you are, just as important as anybody is. Yeah, that is so important for folk to get. And in that humble way of, we're all peers. We're all on the same boat, on the same level here.
Yeah.
Except folks have created all these artificial levels to separate folks, when no, this should not be as such. Okay. Just need more people just saying normal stuff. Or that's what normal is to us now, which still is very odd considering the first part of life. But yep, this is it. We just talk about stuff and try to make stuff better. Oh, that's another point. Is the point here of this and talking like this, and my son and I talking together about things, or trying to just do it naturally so things come up. We are trying to help spread this positive change in a positive way inside each individual that happens to intake these words or these videos or whatever. So we're doing it in this way, as in to follow with the truth of presenting natural law in a non-aggressive way, so we don't cause further conflict because there's been too many divides already. It's only, and we're only a couple of a lot of folks that have become before us and that are doing it right now that are trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, it's spreading.
Like, yeah, like, and I'll just say it, like Mark Passio, amazing, amazing, and the whole thing is not to get hung up and idolize a person or an individual, but the info he presents, the way he presents it, he's an amazing teacher. And like all of us should be students and teachers constantly. We should constantly be the student and the teacher in tandem with everyone else, sharing knowledge to make things better, not keeping knowledge, not twisting knowledge, not telling somebody one thing over here, tell someone something else over here, make a theory about this over here, make up relativism. I couldn't even say it.
Rumors.
Because it's ridiculous. Yeah, over here. So, yeah, this is all in a way to try and not to cause any more division, but to bring those divisions together, back together inside the individual, so they realize, oh, my perception is scattered, fractured, little twisted, and whatever, in whichever way or area or whatever thought or whichever feeling isn't quite connecting quite right. It's so the individual can recognize that, go inside and go, oh, there's things that are correct. And part of it is the physical part. It's the physical body. Have to correct it by getting the toxins out. Get the toxins out. Eat natural. Fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, plant-based diet. Not sentient life where you're processing that dead sentient life energy that probably died in fear and torture and was filled with all kinds of other toxins. It's not the good way to go about it. Not the best, fastest, healthiest, most profound way to go about it. Switching to that plant-based diet, natural, non-GMO, best you can, with water, sea salt, and a little bit of sea salt for those minerals you need that's been stripped out of other table salts. And that simple stuff. While you work on the mind and bringing the mind, the brain hemispheres, the left and right hemisphere, in balance, so it's functioning in tandem with each other through the corpus callosum in the center of those brain hemispheres, so information is free flowing. Along with that comes the activation and in tandem function of the pineal and the pituitary gland, which are also in there, the sun and moon, so to speak. That starts to get cleared up, starts to resonate, that opens up the whole, that's the whole chakra thing. We get into that, but there's no reason to put all these labels on stuff. But yeah, just remember everything's tied together. Because, yeah, 12 organ systems in your body, there's your 12 apostles. Well, who's the one with the 12 apostles? Well, that's you. Because your 12 organs are your apostles. So, it doesn't matter how you want to spin the story or how you want to link the 7 major luminaries in the sky to the tarot, to the Kabbalah, to the chakras, it doesn't matter. It's all the same story. It's all the same teachings. It's all teachings about nature. That's just been split into different factions of knowledge and broken apart. It's just natural knowledge twisted to gain control type over folk, But yeah, get off all the outside sources of toxic information intake. Stop it. Cut it out. Get into nature. If you can't get into nature, it doesn't matter, because you just got to get into yourself. So even if you're right in the middle of a crazy city full of all these electromagnetic frequencies that are frying you, along with all the crazy toxins in your body and metals that are interacting with all those EMFs and the stuff that they're spraying in the sky, yeah, who cares? Yeah, I care, because that's killing everybody. Anyway, understanding, knowing all that's going on, fine. We all know that now, don't we? I hope so. We all should by now. Anyway, if you don't, now you do. But just close your eyes. Put in earplugs if you need to, whatever. Get in a bath, maybe. Turn off the lights in the bathroom, take a bath in the dark. That's an idea. Nice, I've done it before. Nice and relaxing, and just relax and cut off and go into yourself. Cut off from the outside best you can. It's crazy outside. It's meant and designed to be so. When you go in yourself, though, you can find that spot of peace eventually. And it's elusive at first. It's hard to find, but you can find it. You can find yourself. You can spark that seed to grow, and you can like grow it and cultivate it until you live in that place internally of balance and equilibrium and peace. And you can react to things in the moment with clear understanding of things, a clear overstanding of things, and not be triggered by a reaction to something or triggered to act in a certain way based off a certain stimulus, because you'll be in full control. Yep, and seeing it coming as it comes, and that's how you don't get triggered into aggressive behaviors automatically, because that's what happens. People get triggered and go into automatic mode. And you see the issues that's being caused out there because of it. Probably maybe for someone listening, it's causing it for them, because it caused it for me. And yeah, that's the biggest reason I want to say as much as I can. Like, so I've been wanting to say this stuff, and I've been writing this stuff and trying to put it out, but it just needs to be more. And like this, like I'm doing now, finally, like us, like we're doing, because it should not be the way it is. It shouldn't be this bad. There's no need for anyone to be suffering like people are suffering. Folks are suffering. There's no need for it. It's happening due to others' wants, because they want authority, they want control, they want power, they want this or that or the other, only for self, because fuck other. That's the mindset of some folk, and it's causing a lot of damage to a lot of folk, to all of us, to where we live, to the earth, to the sky, to all the life here. And it doesn't have to be like that. It could be changed. It could be changed quick. And peacefully. I don't know, like I said, exactly how. I don't know if everybody moves their own separate ways. The people that, maybe have done a lot of bad stuff, maybe they just go off to their own private island they got somewhere, a private continent. It doesn't matter, but I mean, it doesn't have to keep going like this. Those folk could go their separate way, and all the folk that are still here that want to live in a morally right, correct, natural way in line with truth and with each other, with themselves, within themselves, because we're all doing the same thing here. We're here to grow. We have a limited physical time to grow, but you have a limited physical time to grow your infinite spiritual potential. And that's why we're here. And folks aren't being able to get around to doing that. I wouldn't. Because like I said, I didn't know it existed. But it exists, and it's real. And if folk don't key into that, I don't know what happens after that, but it worries me for other folks out there. And that's the thing, I don't know. I don't know everything, I don't know, but I know what I know. And I know things don't have to be like this, and they don't have to change in some. It doesn't take a disaster to change behavior. It doesn't take a disaster to change a pattern of thought. It doesn't take that. It takes going inside and just connecting with that feeling of care and love in the heart and go, we can make a change without the destruction. Because we have that potentiality, all of us. And the ability, the capability,
Yeah, I wanted to go back when you and say that I think it's real important for anyone listening to go inside, not just those people with power, but like the change is going to start inside of them, inside of you.
Yep.
and that's when the change will start affecting the others around you, and that's just how it spreads. So it really is important for everyone to really start changing.
Yeah, and it's all personal responsibility on each individual, whether they realized it or not. Like I said, yeah, because I didn't realize what all I was responsible for until I realized that I was much more than what I thought I was. So I had to go inside and take responsibility to the fullest on as deep a level as I could, to the point to where, here you go. So I actually considered what if, because I don't know where do I come from energetically, my roots, my ancestors, etc. Or us, species, doesn't matter. But me, my conscious energy, the part that isn't physical, that's where I'm going. I went deep enough just because of how deep I went, I guess. I considered what if I indeed was the devil, so to speak. What if I was that initial energy that separated from source energy due to some disagreement, temper tantrum, mistake? I don't know. But I considered what if. That's how far back I went and how deep I went, because looking out there, I don't get how it could be as bad as I can perceive it now to be. So I went so far as to considering what if I was. What if I was the reason all of this was going on? All this suffering that's being done out there, was what if it was because of me and my initial decision some time where I don't even know about? And what if that's like what I'm here to reconcile and fix, that initial mistake that I made that caused all of this for everybody? And that was so crushing, and I can talk about it now in this way only because of all the hours and hours and days and weeks and however months I spent in those dark places and those dark considerations and those dark explorations and thoughts and feelings of what if, to try and figure out what I was, what at the core of me was going on. What is this spiritual energy? So, well, I could say I've come to the conclusion that, oh, of course I'm not. Because, of course, I always had good energy at heart. And that's what I was born with, and that's what I found, and that's what brought me back to realize I was more than what I had become. So, I can't even speak on those kind of levels, and I wouldn't presume to be this, that, or the other. Anything other than what I know to be my past experience in this life. Ron, that guy that lived until about, I don't know, till almost 40 years old, not thinking he was anything more than a speck of dust, a waste of life, not a waste of life, but I mean, that's how they make people feel. I mean, and I didn't feel like that, I'm not trying to put it like that, but I went through a lot of dark shit, suicidal thoughts, you know, all kind of SSRI, drugs, Prozac, this and that, mind all messed up, alcoholism, that was a mess. So, yeah, and then realized, oh, that was all a lie. All of it. I was a lie. All the stuff out there that I was led to believe, not all of it, but a big chunk of it, the majority of it, were lies. And I had to just rebuild and fix myself from the inside. It would have been nice to know sooner. But since I didn't. But I do now, and that's what I want to try and help others to key in on. Because it's not too late. It's never too late. No, we're all here right now. We can all fix things right now. Everyone can fix them right now. But realize it doesn't happen right now. It's a process. It's an individual process. But you have to get started. You have to keep going. You have to do it. It's just personal responsibility thing. And it's so profound to become, I guess, what you're supposed to be, I guess. Whatever this is, this experience, it's so profound to get balanced and try and do the right thing. Just because you want to do the right thing, because you don't have an agenda other than truth. That's it. And just to live and enjoy life and spread that. Like, to me, it's that simple now. It is. And it's that simple.
Yeah, and everyone's all twisted up and made to believe it'd be so complicated to just be like that when it's really. Yeah.
Which is that individual process that folk got to work through to realize it really has been overcomplicated.
Yeah, and a lot of.
Yeah. But it's that perception change, it's that snapping into themselves fully.
And if
going,
people, and if they hold on to that snapping into themselves, they'll find so many, they'll find so many of the answers and understand so many of the things that they've heard throughout their lives, and everything will look completely different. Yeah, it's gonna be reality shattering for a bunch of people out here.
But absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
And absolutely for a truly good purpose, and so much more profound than folk can realize until they really start to realize just how deep and profound everything is. Everything. Them, the outside, everything. How deep and profound everything is. But yet they have to find that in themselves first. Because otherwise, going down rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole of reality, outside will keep you outside. You have to go down all those rabbit holes inside. And once you unify inside, and you throw out all the bullshit, then you can go back and revisit the bullshit with such clarity and peace of mind, because you've gotten your peace in your mind. It can function without going wherever it wants to go because it's triggered to go somewhere. And you can feel through these things as you see them and look at them, and things continue to intertwine together. Yeah, and things become clear and much more simple. But still, very, very deep in a continuous, seemingly to me, continuous process. Continues.